What's up guys, Rage Quitting here, back with another video guide for you guys. Today we're going to do the Fury Warrior for PvP. I'm going to show you the build, the rotation, and my macros, and a little bit of additional tips for the arena. So if you guys like content like this, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel so you can see more. I'm going to do more guides coming soon. But with all of that out of the way, let's just go straight into the build here. I don't want to spend too much time on this part of the build specifically because I want to make this video short and sweet, but real quick, we're going to go down the left side here. We're taking Impending Victory, Piercing Howl. If you need to take Berserker Shout for priests or warriors, you know, the AoE fears, Berserker Shout can be really good there. Shattering Throw, specking into that if you're going into paladins, you know, something you really need to hurry up and get that shield off for whatever class it is, you know, warlocks, paladins, stuff like that. Spec into Shattering Throw. If not, don't bother. And then going down for the armor buff, the strength that you get after using armor buff, Avatar, and then Titan's Torment. We're taking Move Speed, Heroic Leap, Bounding Stride, and then down here we're going to take the haste buff, dual wield spec, and then going down into Spear of Bastion with Elysian Might. Of course, we need Reflect, we need Fear. Going into D stance just to get Intervene because you have to. Certain matchups I will spec into Rallying Cry and Second Wind. I really like using Second Wind against rogues. Teams that don't have healers, if it's like a double DPS or something, if you're queuing into a 2v2 and you queue into double DPS, Second Wind could be useful there. There was a time I actually got down to literal 1 HP and I was able to line of sight behind a pillar, heal back to full, and we won the match. Okay, and rogues especially too, when they try to go you but they can't quite get the kill, so they blind you and run away, well then you're just going to heal back to full, or they vanish and run away, you heal back to full, and then you know you can just duel them. Down here, sidearm is really good just for some passive damage for your auto attacks, and then of course we need Stormbolt. So this is the basic setup right here. The only things that I will change, I'll probably drop Pain and Gain for Shattering Throw if I need it, and then I will drop Sidearm and 1 point in Wild Strikes here like this to go down into Second Wind, and Rallying Cry whenever I feel like I might be able to clutch something out with Second Wind. Okay, so it'll look something like this. Oh, whoops, right here, something like this. Okay, so keeping that 1 in haste here and then going this way. Okay, but other than that, I spec it for most damage possible with the sidearm, 2 points here, and then going all the way down for the Titan's Torment and then the Spear of Bastion like this. Okay, by the way, I'm gonna leave a link to the build in the description down below so you guys can just copy that and use it for yourself to make it simple and easy. All right, going into the Fury side now, I have this spec'd differently than what most people are running right now. Most people are running Annihilator, but I like this build, especially with Meat Cleaver. Saves you that one globe, you know, 2 globals actually that you have to use if you want to continuously do AoE damage. Without Meat Cleaver, it's 2 strikes after every whirlwind will cleave, and then you have to whirlwind again. But with Meat Cleaver, you do it once, and then your next 4 will cleave. So it just saves you 2 globals where you can spend it on the damage abilities that you really want to use it on and not have to keep re-upping that whirlwind. Also, I don't take Annihilator because I like having Whirlwind on a 0-second cooldown, especially if I'm going to queue into stealth classes, so Druids, Rogues, Mages, and Hunters. I'm pretty good at finding them in stealth, so anytime they try to vanish and get away from me, well then I can try to predict their movement and just keep spamming, you know, whirlwinds to pull them back out of stealth and gain the upper hand. Okay, the other reason why I don't take Annihilator is because I want to put points into Odin's Fury, and I really like Reckless Abandon with Unbridled Ferocity, and the reason for that is Reckless Abandon, every time you use your rampage, your next 2 Bloodthirst will be empowered. That's every single time you rampage, you're going to get 2 empowered Bloodthirst. Okay, so really huge for the rotation. Up here, we're taking Fresh Meat so that as soon as you connect to a target and you use Bloodthirst, you're automatically enraged, which will then give you a bunch of haste from this talent up here. Now, going down the Bloodthirst side, every time you use Bloodthirst, you're stacking up crit chance on your next Bloodthirst, and Bloodthirst is used very, very often. So you're going to get a lot of crits from Bloodthirst. If you don't get them immediately, well then at least you're stacking up the crit chance on it so that you will get it eventually. I've had regular Bloodthirst not empowered Bloodthirst, just regular Bloodthirst hitting for like 30k, and the empowered ones can hit for like 46k. And it's basically on a 0-second cooldown, because every time you rampage and it turns your Bloodthirst into the upgraded version, that upgraded version has no cooldown on it, so you just hit it twice, and then when it switches back to your regular Bloodthirst, that one is still not on cooldown, so you can do 3 Bloodthirsts in a row. Okay, and every crit Bloodthirst will put a gushing wound on the target, which will inflict bleed damage, and you'll also get some healing back from it. So you're going to get the initial healing back from Bloodthirst itself, and then if it crits, you're going to put a dot on the target that also gives you leech as well. So really good self-sustained in this build, really fun to use. Bloodthirst basically has no cooldown, so it's just like Bloodthirst all the time, rampage, Bloodthirst, 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 rampage. And execute now is on a lower priority than Bloodthirst, because Bloodthirst just does more for you and it does more damage. So execute falls back in the priority of the skill order. So priority 1 is rampage whenever you can, and then Bloodthirst whenever you can. If neither of those are available, then it's execute if you have it procced, and then Raging Blow. Okay, the other reason why we don't go into Annihilator, we really want to take these 2 points here and these 2 points here. So down here, Titanic Rage, Odin's Fury auto enrages you, deals 10% more damage, and grants you 4 stacks of Whirlwind, which is really nice. But then also Odin's Fury itself does a lot of heavy damage, and it'll break a root because of the talent down here, Titan's Torment. Anytime you use Avatar, you can break roots and snares, and then whenever you use Odin's Fury, you can break roots and snares. So a lot of people have roots and snares. It's really nice to have 2 that you can use to break them, okay? Because priests now also have those tendrils that root you. Shamans have root totem. Druids have, they can just root you whenever they want. So really good to use these here. Also, with this build, you have a very heavy front-loaded damage whenever you have Avatar and Spear of Bastion available, because they're on the same cooldown. They're also on the same cooldown as Recklessness. So when you engage, you can get a lot of damage off immediately and force them to pop cooldowns. Pretty much your big kill window is going to be every 1.5 minutes, but in between that, you still have really good sustained damage and sustained healing to last you until your cooldowns come up again. So depending on the matchup, you might want to stagger your cooldowns to get rid of some, but if you want to just do the most damage possible in the smallest window of time, you're going to use Recklessness and Avatar and Spear of Bastion together every single time it's up. Okay, and I'll show you the rotation here in a second, but this is the build. This is the one that I like. Go ahead and copy it. It's in the link in the description down below. Alright guys, gearing for the stats. Every single piece of gear that I could get haste on, I got haste, and if I couldn't get haste, then I got mastery, because mastery increases the damage you deal while you are enraged, which is pretty much 100% of the time. And haste is still a really good stat just to get your globals off faster and make the rotation flow very, very smooth. Also, when you're in combat here and you get enraged, you get 15% more haste, and then you get even more haste whenever your auto attacks crit. Because of this wild strikes here, you'll get even more haste here. So I've seen my haste go up to like 56% while I'm in combat, so really good there. Okay, so haste first. If you can't get haste, go ahead and get mastery. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the damage rotation on the PvP training dummy here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna charge in, we're gonna hit Bloodthirst to auto enrage ourselves and give us 15% haste, and then we're going to hit our Recklessness macro, which will then auto proc Avatar and Odin's Fury. Use a rampage, because we're going to have a lot of fury to use rampage, then drop a Spear of Bastion, hit another rampage, which will then put 8 stacks of our healing debuff on the target with this PvP talent right here, Slaughterhouse. So we're getting that max stacks healing debuff up right away. And then the priority of the skills is after you rampage, you're gonna do a double empowered Bloodthirst, and then it's gonna switch out of that empowered Bloodthirst into a regular Bloodthirst. So you can actually do 3 Bloodthirsts in a row, and then just do rampage again, and then triple Bloodthirst, rampage, triple Bloodthirst. If you can't triple Bloodthirst, then you go into execute, and if you can't execute, then you go into Raging Blow. Okay, Bloodthirst is higher priority than execute because it does more damage and it does more for you. It puts the dots on the target and you get some leech from it as well. Okay, so the rotation is very, very simple. The biggest damage that you have in a small window is once again Recklessness with Avatar and Spear of Bastion, because they're all on the same cooldown. If you want to bait defensive cooldowns off of your opponents, you could stagger those differently. You'll get a feel for that in the match if you need to or not. But if you want to do the most damage in the shortest window of time, it's going to be stacking all these cooldowns together. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for the dummy. We're going to keep hitting the dummy army until it gets below 35% HP so that we can show you the damage of Bloodthirst when it gets below 35% because it does more damage with Vicious Contempt, okay? So here we go. Charge, Bloodthirst, macro for all your damage, Rampage, drop the spear, Rampage. We're at 50k DPS right now, okay? Rampage, Bloodthirst, Bloodthirst, Rampage, Bloodthirst, Bloodthirst. We're at 54k damage right now. Damage, Bloodthirst, Bloodthirst, Rampage, Bloodthirst, 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 execute. Now we can Rampage here, and then Bloodthirst, 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 execute, Bloodthirst, Rampage, Bloodthirst. We already used all of our damage cooldowns and we're slowly going down in the DPS. We're sitting at like 44k right now. Okay, but this is the power of Fury Warrior right now. Super easy rotation. And we're going to stop right there at around 40k DPS. But we got up to like 56k DPS as soon as we went in there, dropped all of our cooldowns, and started smashing the target and got it down very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and show you the damage breakdown here. So Bloodbath, 51k crits, guys. 51k crits from an ability that basically has 0 cooldown. Okay, so 51k max critical hits with Bloodbath. Let's see what the regular Bloodthirst was. So I've seen higher ones, but we got 26k for regular crits on regular Bloodthirst, which is not bad. Gushing Wound dot did a lot here passively. This is the dot that you get whenever you apply a Bloodthirst that crits, and then you get some healing back from it as well. Okay, Sidearm passively did 30k, and yeah. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and copy the build down in the description, and I'll see you guys on another one. Peace.